Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Jed Said Therapy channel, where a little awareness goes a long way. I'm Jed Thorpe, licensed therapist, and today we're going to chat about something you've probably heard a lot about lately: executive functioning. Think of it like the office manager of your brain, and yep, we're going to break it down in ways that make it easy to understand and maybe even easy to explain. Alright, and welcome back. That didn't take long. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And while you're there, push the thumbs up button. Hey, this is free, so there's no need to be awkward about it. Now, let's get into this whole term executive functioning. It's been around for quite a while. Started gaining traction in the mid-20th century thanks to researchers like Alexander Luria from the motherland, Russia. You can make fun of my accent later. Over time, psychologists and neuroscientists began to understand that a sort of control center, mostly in the prefrontal cortex, was managing all these high-level mental tasks, labeled executive functioning. See where we're going with this? This isn't just a trendy buzzword. It's rooted in decades of research. It's only being noticed now more because so many people are connecting with what executive dysfunction looks like. Poor time management, disorganization, difficulty prioritizing, impulsivity. What's the other one? Oh, forgetfulness. Those kinds of things. And if you didn't think, hey, this sounds like me, you most definitely had the thought, this sounds like someone I know. Going back to the analogy, imagine your brain is a busy office. All the different tasks are like remembering things, focusing, planning. Those are like different departments. Executive functioning is the manager that keeps all those departments running smoothly. When the manager is on point, everything's organized. But if the manager is having a tough day, or dealing with ADHD, or maybe a traumatic brain injury, or something else, things can get a bit chaotic. We good so far? I hope so, because we're going to go a little deeper, and you're probably going to hear some things that maybe you haven't heard before. So buckle up, buttercup. To start with, this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. In fact, the research, along with what I've observed in thousands of therapy sessions, says that executive functioning challenges look different depending on possible root issues. Each of these underlying issues can carry a different emotional weight, which is why there isn't a quick fix or black and white answer to this. Turns out humans are kind of complicated. For instance, executive functioning issues related with clients that are diagnosed with ADHD, they're going to look like lifelong patterns of difficulty with sustained attention. They're going to have impulse control, and they're going to be bad with time management. And by the time they come in here, they've got a lot of chronic shame and frustration to work through. That's no biggie. We can work through that. On the other hand, if the client comes in with traumatic brain injuries, or TBI, I'm going to know that the executive functioning inefficiencies, well, they're going to look more sudden. It's more of a quick onset. It's like their office manager was replaced by a much less organized doppelganger, and they're unable to do what they once could do. So along with rebuilding life skills, therapy is going to focus a lot on processing through the grief around that loss, because they lost their office manager that they were used to. And we can't forget about the autism spectrum. For this population, their office manager checks out when their routine is disrupted. We're gonna work around coping skills, learning to be flexible and adapting to routine changes, that kind of thing. Hey, this is a short video, so I'm keeping this pretty basic. If you're annoyed that I didn't say more about ASD, please refer to my last video called Identity Fusion. Now that that's out of the way, let's go to an unexpected root cause for perceived executive dysfunction. This is a weird one. Sometimes it even shows up as a trauma response. To recognize this type, look for when someone's executive functioning goes down. It's like a time thing. Sometimes they're functioning fine. Life is calm, they're functioning well. They only go offline when things get wild. And if that's happening, you're probably looking at a trauma response appearing as an executive dysfunction. For this population, therapy helps. And once we get on the right track with this, working through this doesn't take very long. Lastly, and this might be the sneakiest of all, sometimes humans will mimic executive functioning issues in order to solicit help. In the biz, this would be a basic secondary gain. In other words, people consciously or unconsciously lean on being executive functionally challenged in hopes that others will step in. Hey, don't forget the law of effect. Behaviors followed by satisfying consequences are going to be repeated, while behaviors followed by unpleasant consequences, well, they're going to be less repeated. People are good at figuring out how to do the least amount of effort for the most amount of gain. What else? Oh, age is also a factor. Remember, our prefrontal cortex, where a lot of this managing happens, this doesn't fully develop until you're mid-20s. So if you're in your late teens or early 20s and you're struggling with planning or time management, it might just be that your brain's still building out those circuits. Now, with all that said, I've had one thing that's been on my mind. Hear me. It seems like our world is set up to give higher value to office managers who have all the abilities. In other words, humans are rewarded more when they fit into a certain mold. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Hey, we all can't be perfect at everything. Would it be wildly efficient? Yeah, yes, it would. It would also be wildly boring. Imagine going to a national forest park, it was packed with only one type of tree. They all look the same, trimmed the same height, same age, spaced evenly. Yeah, yikes. Sounds more like a horror movie. So maybe it's okay that your brain's office manager is a little quirky. If you have one of these quirky office managers, listen, you're not going to fix it. You know what I mean? Hey, it's not about being broken. When this is the situation, you're going to have more success, not by rewiring and firing your office manager, but understanding how you're wired. And once you understand that, you'll be finding ways to progress despite the office manager's imperfections. It takes a lot of different types of trees to make a rad national forest. And we're a pretty rad national forest. At the end of the day, executive functioning isn't about trying harder. It's about getting smarter on how you work. The more you understand your brain system, the more you can design a life that fits around you. And that's the video. I hope you liked it. I hope you picked something up, something good. And lastly, I appreciate you being here. And until next time, awareness up.